I'm surprised we haven't seen 4-3-3 appear at some point during the game as an option, because I think 4-3-3 you can get Patrick higher as a wide forward. Joe could be a focal point in a 4-3-3. He can hold the ball and potentially bring people in. I think you get an extra body in midfield, whether that's you play Kenner, Smallwood and Whittaker as more as a three. I think you've got players like, I think Taylor Harris would suit the wide right in a 4-3-3 more than he would playing as a number 10 from what I've seen of him. I think Sol Solomon could come into that role. Davison has previously played wide in a 4-3-3. And I'd say it gives you bodies in that. So maybe that's something they might look at. The other one is, do you get a strike partner with Joe Ironside? And I think if we are gonna go more direct as a team, and in terms of what we're playing, you need someone up there who can get on the end of those second balls, get on the end of those flick-ons. I would really like to see Sol Solomon given a go up with Joe Ironside. And I think, apart from Christian Dennis, I think his movement, his goal-scoring instinct is the next best that we've got there. For whatever reason, and I don't know whether because he's got a very good delivery. We've seen it off corners and the ball he put in on Saturday. That's why they're seeing him as a wing back for that delivery. But you've got a lad there who has scored goals at lower levels, but you see strikers, they score goals at lower levels, they go to a team and you know what? They play them as a striker and they continue scoring goals. We do this where we bring them in. Oh yeah, he scored these goals at this level. Oh no, let's play him in a deep lying midfield role. Let's play him at wing back. And it frustrates the life out of me, but you could have a player like, imagine he comes in and he scores 10 goals up to Christmas. Suddenly, what is the value on him as a player? Whereas we give Davison a go, and Davison did really well for the goal at Walsall. I'll give him that. He tries his heart out, the lad. I just don't think I think you can see what his ceiling is as a player. I don't think we know what Sol Solomon's ceiling is as a striker, because we've not seen it. I look at it now and I think it's a shame that Sam Taylor's out on loan, because I think having Sam play off Joe Ironside with his pace running in behind could have been a really valuable asset. And we're not, as you say, right, who plays in a two up front with Joe? I wouldn't necessarily want to see Davison and Ironside together. I just think it's too sort of lumps. I know Josh is a bit more he can run, but I don't think he carries the threat. I think if you played Ironside and Connor Jennings, I don't think there's enough mobility, and Connor isn't going to make them runs in behind these days. I think Connor needs to play behind him. I would go one of two ways. I would either put Sol Solomon up with him as a 2 and then have a number 10 behind, or probably my preference would be to have Joe, have potentially Connor Jennings and Whittaker behind him, try and get better service into him, ideally get it into his feet, get it into his chest, pick it up, get Connor and Whittaker then combining, get Amari bombing up from left wing back, get Norman or Joseph from right wing back and play that way. I think the biggest problem at the moment is them balls up to Ironside he's been isolated, and the quality of them hasn't been there. Like the pretty poor balls that I think most strikers in the league wouldn't get any touch on them. He's winning flick-ons, he's getting hold of it at times, but it's fighting a losing battle. So I think it does need to be an either or. I just hope we don't do what is, I think, very Tranmere, as we go to Bromley, and Bromley are a big physical side, and we try and play them at their own game. And we go with Davison, we bring Connor in, we go with the land of the Giants. I would like to see us go to Bromley and say, yeah, we're going to have to deal with the set pieces he chuck in. But we've got Brough, we've got Smith, we've got Turnbull, we've got Norman, we've got Kenniswell. We've got enough big players to deal with a set piece into the box. But I think if you go to Bromley and you get the ball on the deck and you can pass it round them, you beat them. I think if you turn it into a rugby match, similar to what we did with Cambridge, it was just they hoof it, we hoof it, they launch it in the box, we launch it in the box. I don't think that's going to necessarily get us a result there. I think we've got to try and get our identity back, play it on our terms, get our good attacking players on the ball, and also get some good balls into the box for Ironside as well. I think he must be frustrated to hell at the moment in that he's had one great ball into the 6-yard box that he's got across his man, attacked it and scored a goal. Sol put one in on Saturday from deep that he nearly got on the end of. I can't remember another ball put into the box for him to attack yet. So that also has to be a focus.
Yeah, it takes two players at least to make a good goal scorer, doesn't it? It takes the one to score the goals, but it also takes the ones to create them. And if you look at all the great Tranmere goal scorers of the past, I don't know, even this century, Norwood had Jennings in that season. And then in the season, there was Norwood and Cook. There was Norwood, Cook and Jennings to supply. In the seasons of Greenacre, you had Steve Davis or Chris Schuker providing him with goals. And if you go back further to Aldo, I know that's not this century, but if you go to Aldo and Muir, they had Nevin or Morrissey. So it does take two players to score the goals. They've got one in Ironside. I'm not convinced Patrick is that great a creator. So it's therefore looking at who else is going to be the creator within that side. Hopefully they find someone, because I do think, as you say, that there is a striker in there.